Hey there, guys. It's Brendan Dzwierzynski here. There we go. Our video is back. Live reaction, that happens sometimes. But a KU win 37-16 over Oklahoma State. That's KU's first win over Oklahoma State since 2007 and is the 6th win of the year for KU, which gets the Jayhawks to bowl eligibility for the first time since 2008. And it included a couple of fantastic individual performances in this game in Lawrence on Saturday afternoon. And we have to start with the Lawrence native himself, Devin Neal, who had an all-time great KU day. 224 yards on the ground. That's a new career high for him. That's also the first 200-yard rushing performance for KU since Puka Williams put up over 200 yards on the road against Oklahoma back in 2018. Also, a career high 110 receiving yards in the game for Devin Neal. That makes him the first Kansas player ever in school history, going back to the 1800s, to have over 200 rushing yards and over 100 receiving yards in the same game. Also cashed in with a 31-yard touchdown run back in the first quarter as well. Neal with an all-time performance, and after the game, Coach Lance Leipold said that there's just something special about having a game that gets KU to bowl eligibility. And in that contest, it's the Lawrence native who committed to KU because he always wanted to be a Jayhawk. He's the one who helps lead Kansas all the way there. So a tremendous night for Devin Neal. He wasn't the only one, though. Also offensively, Jason Bean, who the cameras on Fox caught having a very emotional moment near the end of the game. He had a big night as well. 18 of 23 passing, 203 yards through the air. So a very efficient day. 2 touchdowns as well, including a really nice throw to Jared Casey in the second half. Just a little dump off over the middle. Casey was wide open. He had a big drive up until that point. And also 93 yards on the ground on 4 carries for Bean, including the longest run of the day. Yeah, all those yards. Neal didn't even have the longest run of the day. That belonged to the quarterback, Jason Bean, who had a 73-yard touchdown run in the game, and that helped push the offense over the top for KU in this one. Defensively, too, huge day for the Jayhawks. They were facing a backup quarterback in this game. It was Garrett Rangel for Oklahoma State. He got the start because Spencer Sanders is out injured, and also he was able to leap over replacement Gunnar Gundy on the depth chart. But the true freshman, he had a rough career first start, throwing 3 interceptions in the game. He also fumbled on a 4th and 1 inside the Kansas red zone in the second quarter with 6:31 to go in the first half. KU would score again before halftime, so that was a very costly turnover on a 4th down and 1 for Oklahoma State. The Cowboys did still end up with around 400 yards of offense for the game, but it was not nearly enough as KU comes away with the 3-score win, 37-16. And obviously a historic day for KU. The first time in 14 years that KU is bowl eligible. They will be going to a game. Power 6 teams, Power 5 teams, when they get to that 6th win, they do not end up without a bowl appearance. So that is a tremendous accomplishment for this KU team in just year 2 of the Lance Leipold era. And this program has come such a far way in just a couple of years. In fact, during the post-game press conference, Leipold even said this was an Oklahoma State team that had beaten Kansas so badly last year, the Jayhawks didn't even have a first down in the entire first half. While on KU's first offensive possession of the game, the Jayhawks were able to get a first down. So accomplishment right off the rip. Jayhawks were able to score a touchdown on that first drive, and that was all she wrote pretty much for the rest of the game. A couple other important personnel notes to get to for this one for KU. I mentioned the stats for Jason Bean. Jalen Daniels did go through warm-ups with the team. We had heard all week long that he was practicing with the team. Not quite ready to go, though. So Leipold, Andy Kotelnicki and company, they go with Jason Bean. He has the big day. Hopefully, Jalen Daniels will be able to get back as soon as possible. Also, great to see on the defensive side of the ball, Kobe Bryant back. We heard earlier in the week that he was practicing again, and he comes up with a couple of pass breakups and an interception on the very first drive of the game. The first interception that Oklahoma State threw for the day, Kobe Bryant with a diving highlight reel catch on the sidelines to come away with the interception. So great to see him back at full strength and immediately making plays like he has done all throughout this season for Kansas football. We should also note one other streak that was snapped tonight for the Jayhawks. They had not beaten a ranked team in the top 25 of the AP poll since all the way back in 2010. Another 12-year streak that was snapped on this November afternoon here in Lawrence, Kansas. So the Kansas Jayhawks are now 6-3 on the year, still 3 games left in the regular season before they get to whatever bowl game they end up in. Next week, it'll be another road trip for the Jayhawks, their second to last one of the season. They'll head down to Lubbock to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders coming up next Saturday afternoon. But until then, one more time from David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, it is the Kansas Jayhawks 37, the Oklahoma State Cowboys 16. KU, for the first time in 14 years, is bowl eligible. Until next time, make sure you check out 580 Sports Talk and Mic'd Up on 580 WIBW coming up on Monday, where we will have full reaction to this KU game, K-State's game as well on Saturday, and we'll talk plenty of Kansas City Chiefs as well. So until then, I'm Brendan Dzwierzynski.